Hello everyone, this is Stipe, the coach of Helsinki High Jump Kicks, and this is the draft analysis video for the DGBA Division 2 draft. A new league I just joined. I haven't joined a new leagues in ages. I've been doing like UPA, RBL, and PTA, which is my own league for multiple seasons each. So I figured that I would kind of want some new. I don't know if you say new wins in English, but that's a saying in Finnish at least. So whatever. I'm in a new league and this is looking pretty fun. The league seems very active. It has a lot of content, which is always very cool. Something I kind of missed in my other leagues as well, even though I'm responsible of all the content in one of them, but I just been too lazy. So very nice to be in a league that does like draft stream and power rankings and stuff. So definitely very excited of that. And of course that makes me want to contribute as well. So I haven't uploaded anything in a while, but now I definitely wanted to do that because in this kind of league and an environment, I feel very glad to contribute as well. However, there are a few things like my mic it's a bit weird. It has if I have it close to my mouth, it has a tendency to just fuck up my breath. But I've tried to modify a little, so I have no idea how this is gonna sound. I hope it's pleasant enough for the ear. Also, I'm spending the summer in my parents' home, so there are other people here. Like my sisters right now are watching Return of the King in the room next to mine, and it's getting kind of late, so I'm kind of tired. But I guess the cool thing about modifying my mic is that I don't have to talk that loud, which I don't like doing when I'm tired. But anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's go to the draft. As you can see, there are the very cool sheets made by, I believe Mike was his name, that were used for the draft stream. So I'm definitely gonna use them for my video here. Even though I'm not a big fan of the traditional draft analysis format where you simply tell in order which picks you got, because it often just goes to the point where you just scroll showdown and basically just tell what each Pokemon individually do, which I don't think is very it's not very interesting in a community where everybody knows that to begin with. More interesting to me is to explain how the team works together, how the synergies work, etc. So that's what I'm aiming for here. And also I nicknamed all my mods after a theme. The theme was songs and bands. So I actually made a pretty cool thing here. I have a little piece of music for each of my mods here. I hope you like it, even though I'm pretty sure that most of you don't share the taste of music with me. But maybe I'm gonna be able to get at least a few of you try some new stuff. But anyway, let's start. So first of all, we do have the Zygarde 50%. So Zygarde is named the Serpentine Offering. I basically wanted, unlike three different like plans, what to draft at the beginning. So you see that the Coco was drafted one pick before. I would have gone for that because I think Coco is probably the best mon in the format in my opinion. But I went for Zygarde because I drafted Zygarde like in a very early seventh gen. I I realized very early that it has a lot of potential in the format before like necessarily others realized that. Like I feel like it became like a first round pick quite late. But the thing was that I wasn't like I knew in paper it would work, but I wasn't really able to put a lot of work for it because there weren't like the standard sets, so I wasn't just able to run it very well. But I want to try it now again, and I'm actually going for the same offensive core as I was um, using back then, and I just wanted to try to like use the same core and build better around it because my team wasn't necessarily very good. So the core I had was Zygarde, Weavile, and Mega Charizard Y. And that's what I wanted. Like I felt that Weavile and Zard Y um, pressure Zygarde's checks very well. And like that was my thought process going into this draft. And actually, next pick was indeed Weavile.
The world is on fire, and you are here to stay and burn with me. A funeral pyre, and we are here to revel forevermore.
And Weavile is named Papa Emeritus after the singer of the band Ghost. The Serpentine Offering is a song from a band called Dimmu Borgir. I'll have all the links to the songs in the description. And so yeah, Weavile is pretty cool. It gives me speed, it gives me more priority, and it pairs up with Zygarde nicely because it can check bulky grass types, it can check offensive dragon types, and it's a nice pursuit trapper. Of course, the problem here is that I can't have both of these mons as Z captains, so I have to make the decision later on, and I'll tell at the end what I decided on. But Weavile was indeed my second pick, and at this point I'm still going for the core of the three mons I was talking about. But next, I do get Deoxys Defense, the Planet Smasher. And this was a bit of a, I don't know. This changed the course of my draft a lot. I was contemplating between this and Toxapex, and I ended up going on this because it gets both rocks and spikes. So stat-wise, this is very similar to Uxie, even except it's a bit worse. And Uxie has some cool things going for it, such as it gets U-turn, foul play, memento, so you can block defog or spin, which this mod doesn't get. But I definitely value spikes a lot. Also, like I think this is a little bit bulkier, though it's kind of hard to say. Uxie has more HP, but less defense and special defense than Deoxys defense. And of course, like I like I'm not allowed to use recover. That's like the reason why they have allowed Deoxys, and it is like a tier 2 mon even. You could even argue that it should be lower when compared to Uxie, but I don't know. This mon has like certain niches that I believe can make it stand out. I'm not gonna necessarily tell them all because this is a mon that people don't see much used, so I don't want to really spoil what I have in mind. But it has some cool moves. Like well, let's say seismic toss for example, which always gets that fixed damage, which is definitely always very nice. But the reason this really changed my draft, like where it's gonna go, is because I realized that to get all the things I wanted, which is like um, so with the Zardwa, I really wanted Hylalis because it's like a nice fast Scarfer and a Volt Turner. I wanted some bulk. I don't remember exactly what all I wanted. I wanted a lot of like certain types. And more I like looked at my plan, I just saw that I can't get a solid team if I go for the Zardwire route. So I'm not giving up on that yet. But next I'm going for Starmie because I want it to support my Zardwire that I haven't drafted yet. And Starmie is very cool because it's like it's a great like utility. And Starmie is Star Child. Yeah, I don't remember actually exactly like what was my exact reasoning, but I just felt that that mon worked really well with my core. I guess it's especially nice with the Weavile because it switches in on fighting types. Even though I mean I already have Deoxys, but it's something like I wasn't really going for at first. And the fast spin is very nice. It can absorb status, but it can also go for that analytic route. So, like I said, a very solid utility. And at this point, I decided to just dump the idea of Zardwire. I just realized I can't get it. And I had earlier asked uh, what one would work well with Deoxys defense, and I was told that Mega Kangaskhan is one. I'm not generally a fan of drafting mons that I have literally no experience with from like ladder, and neither Deoxys D or Mega Kangaskhan are mons that you can't really get any experience with because they both kinda they you can obviously use them in OU and they kinda suck in Ubers, so that's a problem. Um, However, I feel like this mon is so good that it doesn't matter, and I really like this pick. It definitely changes the direction of my draft a lot. At this point, it's looking like I'm going towards a route where I'm really focusing around priority instead of just straight up fast offense. And this is nice because I really don't like have to look after my speed tiers that much anymore. Because like what I was planning to get, I wasn't really planning my speed tiers very well, and as you'll see, they will be probably the worst in this league. But I don't care because I have the priority, like I said. I've heard that a check to Mega Kangaskhan is like Rocky Helmet is something that checks this more very well. But knowing that definitely will help me to use this more in a way that it won't be as big of a problem. The nickname of Mega Kangaskhan is Megatherion after the song called Band Therion. Next, I decided to go for Klefki. I mean, like, even at first, I could have gone for something like Magiarna or Mega Mobile over Weavile to pair with Zygarde, but at this point I just go for Klefki. I feel it's incredibly solid because having the double spikes is very nice because that means I can use Deoxys in more versatile ways. It also gives me that important dark switching. It gives me also a steel type, so also from bird spam, rock spam. For that, I get a very important resists. And screens, I believe, can support this team a lot because I don't really have solid walls. Like even Deox is more of a tank that can set up hazards than a wall, especially now that I don't have the access to recover. Lefke I've used before. I mean, it gets a defog as well, and so I don't have to like rely on Stormy. Not that I guess my team is a bit weak to rocks with Weavile, but generally I don't really mind having only a few hazard removers if my team isn't weak to hazards. Klefki is called Kinetic after a song by a band Arcturus.
This transmission from Star.
Alright, next one is Seismitoad. Seismitoad I like a lot because first of all it gives me another stealth rocker, and while Deoxys defense is a nice mod in a sense that you can literally just bring it every week, having another rocker I feel is still extremely nice. This one gives me a water immunity, and it also does give me that very nice bolt beam check. And having that another ground type next to Zygarde is very nice because that means that I don't have to like risk Zygarde for Volt Switch blocking. And in general, this just makes it a little bit more annoying for my opponents to choose their hidden powers, which is something that I always like a lot. I've never used Seismitoad actually before. I've used Gastrodon, I've used Quagsire, and those are more that do get recover, but they don't get stealth rocks. So that's why I definitely valued Seismitoad over those two. At this point, actually, which is funny, my original thing with the core I talked about, Zygarde Rival Zard Y, was that I wanted to like rebuild that one team that I before used a bit better, and one of the issues with the team was that I didn't really have walls with recovery, and now I have my old defensive mons, Deoxys, Klefki, Seismitoad, don't have recovery. I guess you could say Starmie gets recovery, but it's not really a wall. It's just a Bulkimon. But it's still like it's more of a utility than Bulkimon. Anyway, Seismitoad is called Hyper Geek. Alright, next I do pick Mienshao. Mienshao I feel is an extremely solid pick. It gives me a lot of things I didn't have so far. And also one thing I already did have. I already did have one Weasel. Now I have two, so I have that very, very solid Weasel core. Also gives me a Psychic Fighting Dark core, which with like I feel like with Starmie and Weavile, my team just was shouting for having a good fighting type, and I love Mienshao for quite a few reasons. First of all, it gets U-turn, which my team so far is lacking. It is a mon that can be a wall breaker and a sweeper at the same time because it can be like bandit reckless high jump kick, which is a great wall breaker. Doesn't have many switches other than just ghost types. Also, like I said before, Mega Kangaskhan is prone to opposing Rocky Helmets. Mienshao can just run. It can just very freely spam knockoff because it has a regenerator, so it doesn't even mind getting that Rocky Helmet chip. Of course, like Mienshao is a mon that is extremely annoying to face, I feel, because it has so many good sets, and it can be very powerful. It can be very fast for a fighting type. However, it's also very annoying to use because of the fact that it can miss the high jump kicks and take that damage. But I've never used this mon. I'm very very excited to do that. Uh, my Mienshao is called Zen. Alright, next up it is Moltres. So this is basically just my backup Zardwai. Now that I didn't get the Zardwai, I got Mega Kangaskhan as my Mega. Moltres is pretty cool. It has a very good special attack. It's like 125 and has that fire flying offensive coverage, which is very solid. It it can be offensive, it can be bulky. It does give me my third pressure mon. So, like, as you can see so far, my team is very good against like fatter teams. I have a lot of offensive pressure. My team might not be as good against opposing offense because, like I said, I have only three defensive mons. None of them gets recovery. I guess Mega Kangaskhan can be like wish support with a very bulky set, but well, Moltres of course can be now a Pokemon with recovery, but also the combination of three pressures does literally pressure opposing offense, especially if it's relying on moves with low PP. So that's at least one option for me to deal with offense. Moltres also getting U-turn is very nice. I have some core going now with the Mienshao. Moltres is called Arch Enemy after the band Arch Enemy, who have the song. What's the song called? Eagles Fly Alone or something like that. Here we go. Alright, next pick. Alright, so next pick is Venomoth. And we're at the point of the in the draft where I'm actually starting to get a bit concerned that my draft will simply just miss out on some crucial roles. I was feeling like that right after I picked the Deoxys. It just turned my draft to a very different direction that I was thinking at first. But for my last two picks, I gotta changed my way how I was drafting. Before this I was just looking at my inner cohesion, like of my team, but now I was looking at other teams. This is a 10 coach draft, which is very nice because it means that like drafting against like reactive drafting is way easier. So there were a few things I really wanted. I don't have grass type so far. I don't have a ghost type for spinning, which I don't think is necessary, but the thing is that I have not I mean like I have drafted a few teams now without a ghost and it can be a bit annoying sometimes, especially um, when you have like a lot of hazard stacking. I don't have webs, which I don't necessarily mind because like I said, I have a lot of priority which I can definitely rely on. Before I drafted Venomoth, I didn't have Toxic Spikes, which I absolutely wanted. I also didn't have Grounded Spikes. And I wanted as many of these rolls as possible. So one option was to go for Trevenant plus Ariados. That would have basically given me everything I wanted, but that was a very like kinda like lackluster way to get it. Because I mean I really want to try Trevenant at some point, but it's not a very good bulky grass. And Ariados is it's just very slow, which I don't like. Venomoth instead is a great mon because it actually gives me finally a very good anti-offense mon. Very good setup sweeper. Gives me the T-spikes. Nice utility with sleep powder and baton pass and stuff like that. Pressures opposing grass types, which is great because I mean, okay, I have like Weevil and Moltres, but I felt like I still needed more pressure on them to support my Zygarde. Also, my like offensive pressure against fairies is basically non-existent because my only steel type so far is Klefki. So that's also a reason why I feel Venomoth is fantastic. And it was tier 4, which made it a very solid budget mon. And my Venomoth is called... it's actually called Matthew 619 because that was the easiest way to get the reference to the song Where Moth and Rust Destroy. And it's time for my last pick, and it is Simisage. However, and I'm not lying at all, I was super close. I was super close to drafting Ghastly. Because I was thinking that I want that spin block option. And like Ghastly is fast and like it can still run something like Destiny Bond pretty effectively against spinners. Especially since only 4 spinners were drafted and one of them was my own Starmie. So I might have actually brought Ghastly, but the thing with this mon is that it's like it's much better Z user. It has a great speed tier with 101. And it gives me more offense, which I was a little bit concerned with because my setup offense realistically right now is Zygarde and Venomoth. Like okay, ST Weavile I guess, but I feel like in draft format it's not as viable than it may be standard play. I guess Mega Kangas can be, but I don't really know how to use that mon. I don't want to rely on that. So I feel like Simisage just gives me a little bit more in that regard. I didn't feel like I necessarily need grass type really because like there were very few ground types actually drafted. And that's like really the only type I would have needed ground to cover. And then like there's this one team with 3 grounds and 2 of them don't really care about grass. It's because the other one of them is Piloswine and the other one is Gliscor. So grass isn't even a very good typing in that matchup. But I think there are like a few teams without any ground types at all. So like I said, I don't really need a grass type. But I feel like Simisage just offers a lot for my team, and it can be a Z-mon. But before I actually tell which my Z-mons are, let's listen to the last song, which is actually very different from the other ones. This is from a Finnish band called Leningrad Cowboys. And this is indeed a Leningrad Cowboy, you know, the nickname of my Simisage. So here we go.
Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. We sing and dance forever and a day. We lived the life we choose. We fight and never lose. For we were young and sure to have our way.
Alright, that's almost the end of the draft analysis. but the Z captains. So I ended up going for Zygarde and Sims Edge. I was, I mean, it was really just a matter of whether it was Zygarde or Weavile, and I just feel like Zygarde gains so much more from it than Weavile, even though I really, really love Z Weavile. But the fact that with Z, Zygarde can like basically check its checks, or like not check, but beat its checks or counters, I feel is such a valuable thing. At least to have the option to do so. Whereas Weavile has very, very good sets that don't need Z move, such as Band, Life Orb, Swords Dance with, I don't know, whatever. We'll see how this all will go. I don't know. This is an interesting team because it definitely is going out of my comfort zone. Started going that way the second I drafted Deoxys over Toxapex. But this team looks pretty fun. I'm definitely looking forward to use it. Any comments on Sims Edge as a Zmon? I don't know. I'm excited to use that one as well. I feel like it has a great move pool, great potential, but we'll see. I guess this is all for the draft analysis. If you liked, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. I'm probably gonna be uploading the battles as well, if I get a chance. I would like to at least. Anyway, this is Stipe signing out. Bye.